gentlemen, have a few words to speak to the parents and students as a continuation of what your guru spoke to you and also what Jaideep ji and Arun ji spoke to you. And this is regarding what does classical arts really mean? What is it standing for? How many of you think classical arts just stands for entertainment? Can you raise your hands? How many of you think that classical arts just stands for entertainment? Okay, I think all of you understand. It is not just for entertainment. In fact, classical arts' primary objective is not entertainment. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because in today's world, there is a lot of Western influence which we go through knowingly or unknowingly because of the media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And in many Western art forms, like if you look at flamenco dance or salsa and all that stuff, the main intent is entertainment. And it is very much physical. But that is not what classical dance and classical music of India stands for. And I think all of us, that is the students and the parents who are encouraging, should understand this particular aspect, because that's very important for you to develop as a good artist. I want to just quote a line from Natya Shastra. It says, Natyam Vedatrayat Bhinnam Panchamim Veda Sadhana. What does it mean? Natya, which is dance and music, is the fifth Veda. And what does Veda stand for? The four Vedas that we have. It is source of knowledge. A lot of people think it is religious text. It is not, in fact. It is source of knowledge. It talks about how should you live. What is dharmic living? And it is not limited to Hinduism or anything. The concept of religion is alien to India, as you know. There's no concept of religion. Religion is an external concept. It is all about your way of living, the dharmic living. And the Vedas talk about that. So, what Natya Shastra says is that the classical dance and music is a medium to convey the wisdom which is there in Veda. So, if you look at Bhavayami Raghuramam, which was performed today, which was Ramayana, and in that there are several elements of dharmic living. There is humility, there is respect, there is the connection to divine, there is good versus bad. There are so many aspects which are covered in that single item of Bhavayami Raghuramam. And so that is the intent of classical dance and music. It is to become a medium to convey the wisdom which is there in Vedas. So each student, so the reason why I'm saying is I've heard some of the classical dancers saying, hey, I want to do a fast number. Right? Which means you're bringing it down to just the physical level. Fast number is like, okay, I do some quick fast jatis. But that's not what dance is all about. It is about what is the connection that you have. Now, which means it is a spiritual activity. And what is spiritual? What is spirituality? It is connection of yourself to something greater than yourself. Connection to this cosmos. Connection to the nature. Connection to your inner self, which is an Advaitic concept. Inner self, Aham Brahmasmi. The most elevated concept probably in philosophy. That means you are carrying within the Brahman, the ultimate truth. And if you are able to connect to your inner self, that is bliss, that is transcendental experience of the ultimate supreme truth. So, when you are dancing, when you are imbibing the character that you're portraying, It is also an experience where you're connecting to your inner self. And that is very, very important. If you are just limiting yourself just to the physical activity of dance, then you have only done 50%. The remaining 50%, as the Natya Shastra says, is bhava and rasa. Bhava is emotions, and rasa is the experience. As an artist, when you're performing a music or dance, are you able to elevate the audience to that blissful experience? And that can only happen when you're imbibing the essence of the artist and also imbibing the bhava and rasa. Now, so what is all this meaning? For a dancer, it is self-discovery. As you're doing dancing, you're connecting to your inner self and you're discovering. What is it for an audience? When I sit there, I am experiencing what the artist is experiencing. And that helps me to imbibe that experience, the values that is being conveyed. And this is proven scientifically. So what I'm telling is not just talking. There is a lot of research which has gone into it. One of the researchers was 106 students from a college was chosen, and they were asked to practice Odissi for 4 days. Their health parameters, like for example, the heart variation rate, right, HVR as you call, all those were read. And then after 4 days, again the parameters were looked at, and it was clearly seen that their stress levels, their anxiety levels have come down. Why? What is the reason? The reason is because classical arts, when you're practicing music or dance, it actually has an effect on your brain. Okay, and this is again studied because now you have so many ways of studying the brain activity, the hormone secretions happening in the brain, right? So what happens is there are some neurochemical changes which happens, like the secretion of dopamine and opioids, which leads to feeling the pleasure, and it is a rewarding experience. That's why when you attend a great, like I sit and listen to Bhimsen Joshi in an auditorium, when I walk out, why is it that you are in that blissful state? It is because there are hormone secretions happening. The dopamine and opioids. Stress levels comes down because of cortisol levels, which goes up, right? Then serotonin secretion, which improves your overall health and immunity. And oxytocin, which is, again, helps you with the interaction with society and calming down yourself. Now, all this is, I'm not telling, this is what I'm reading is out of a research paper from a journal. So, this is the effect that this art forms are having on you. And it is scientific. And that's why you feel that experience, that happiness, that calmness, and so on, when you really sit and listen with full concentration, or sit and watch a classical dance with full concentration. And the capability of artists is shown when the audience experience that. Now, a few things to add to the students who are practicing classical dances. First and foremost, characteristic you should have is humility. You need to be humble. Nothing should get into your head. I did a Arangetram, so I am some big artist now, or I got some prize, or I got some scholarship. None of this should matter. The only thing which matter is I keep practicing and I have a lot to learn. It's like when I'm in 10th standard, I feel I know physics, right? But when I go to 12th standard, I know, maybe I don't know a lot of physics, but when I do engineering or I do a BSc physics, then I know I do nothing about physics. So as you learn more, you understand there's so much more to learn. So please be humble and always understand arts is above you. It is divine. It is like God. That's why we have Navaratri. So that's the first thing. Second, discipline. A lot of people complain. See, I am practicing Hindustani. Jaydeep is practicing Carnatic music. Arun sir is practicing music, writing. We are all busy professionals. I work for Google and I'm a busy professional. All of them are busy professionals. But that's not an excuse. When somebody comes and tells me, hey, I have this exam or I have that, because of which I couldn't practice or I discontinued dance, you are the person who's losing. Nobody else. Right? So it is all about time management and discipline. That's the second thing that you learn. One is humility, second is discipline and time management. Then the third is respecting your guru. Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. What does that mean? I am not talking from a literal sense. See, self-discovery is the biggest thing in your life. All of us are in the pursuit of self-discovery. And the three people who are big pillars for that is your father, mother, and your guru. So when our forefathers wrote this, they wrote it with a deep meaning. And that is why in India, in Bharatam, our beloved motherland, the Guru Shishya Parampara is so important. So it is not like I pay fee to somebody, so okay, he is doing his or her duty as a teacher. That is not the idea. Somebody is passing jnanam, knowledge to you, which helps you to do self-discovery. That is the role of a guru. It's a big role. Right? So that is the other important thing. And then please don't forget about Natya, that is the classical dance and music, is the fifth Veda. It is that heavy and that deep. So don't limit yourself and tell, I want to do a peppy number or a fast number in music or dance. That is not the idea. It is far beyond that. I hope this is just sharing my thoughts about classical dance and music. I hope that all of you liked what I spoke and feel that it makes sense. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me, and I hope all of you enjoyed today's performance.